Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation where you flow your presence enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, welcome to DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, and I'm here with my brother, my DBDS partner, Carl. How you feeling today, my man?
Awesome, man. It's a fantastic day. Definitely want to send my prayers to those in the midst of that Hurricane Ida that's down there coming aboard, and for safe keepings down there, because it looks like it's pretty bad.
Yes. I mean, my prayers and condolences goes out to those people down there, man. So just stay safe. Don't worry. We're going to get through this. So much love. Besides that, despite my allergies over the weekend, I'm feeling much better, but everything is great with me. I would like to mention to my anonymous posters out there, listen, Carl and I, we do offer coaching sessions on our website, dearbrothersdearsisters.com. You know, it's the official site to healthy and monogamous relationships. But besides that, listen, we got coaching sessions, courses, blogs, inspirational advice from amazing people. So make sure you check it out, dearbrothersdearsisters.com. And right now, if you go to the site, you know, you also get 10% off of DBDS shirts. So you can just wear them as me and my brother's doing. And also you'll get an ebook from yours truly called The Road to Healthy and Monogamous Relationships. Anything you want to add to the site, my brother?
It's definitely worth it. Going and looking at what's on there. We put so much time, energy, and effort into getting degrees in school, and for our jobs and certifications, all this stuff. If you're an athlete, we put the extra work in, but people don't put the work in for a relationship. And that's what this website is designed for, to help you to prepare for a healthy relationship, so you attract the right people, or put you in a position, if you're in a relationship and maybe there's some bumps, to level those speed bumps out and get things back on smooth sailing. So definitely check the site out. It's worth it. I tell everybody all the time, this is going to be the top website out there when it comes to promoting and following through with healthy relationships.
Absolutely. It's not too many sites out there. So I always state that, listen, investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. So make sure you check out the site. And again, to my anonymous posters, make sure you book yourself a session today. Also, if you're an aspiring author, we do have a section called the Valuable Gem section. So if you want your book to be seen in front of a lot of people and you want to be, heard, right now, my sister, Dr. Peggy Johnson, got her book up there called The Kingdom of Pearls, Recovering from the Womb to Heart. Such an amazing read, very spiritual and great insight. So, make sure you get in contact with Mel, myself, as well as my brother Carl, if you want your book on the site, so we got that as well. So with that being said, today's show that we're going to discuss, and the topic is positive signs before you enter into a relationship. I mean, this is going to be a blazing topic. What you think about this, Carl?
I'm loving it, because we always deal with so many different negative stuff out there, and not just us, just society as a whole. So I think for some people, they don't know what a green flag looks like. They don't know what a positive entry into a relationship looks like, because everything is negative this, negative that. You got the negative Nancy's and you got the Doubting Dougs, out there all the time. And it's just, it's time to do something on the positive side, so we can, help people to know what to look for. And when you're saying, hey, I want to make this selection, I want to make this choice, and it keeps you from settling. So I think when you know what green flags to look for, you make choices. If you're not sure of the green flags, you end up settling.
Absolutely. Very well said, my brother. And the thing is, if you're not aware of these signs, these green signs, most of the time you may be self-sabotaging yourself, an opportunity to be with someone that may be a match. You may have a compatibility factor with that person, and by you thinking the green flag is red, it may just self-sabotage a potential healthy relationship. And we don't want that to happen to you, right? So with that being said, it is time to bring our guest into the studio. Listen, I'm pretty ecstatic, my brother. I'm pretty ecstatic. Whew. So the first one coming into the DBDS live studio. Listen, I reached out to the sister just based on a positive energy. And this is her first time, but I love the way she expresses herself. Very inspirational sister. Welcome to the DBDS live studio, my sister Erin.
Hey Carl. Hey Tramel. Thanks for having me today. Super excited to be here.
Absolutely. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Okay, so my name is Erin Elise. I am originally from Pasadena, California, living in Huntsville, Alabama, and don't ask why. I do love it down south. It has been good to me. I am a self-love influencer, and I do that through photography or by teaching live affirmations. So either way, you're either going to see yourself and learn to love you, or we're going to speak to ourselves and learn to love ourselves.
I love that. And I love what you do. And by the way, you may have to hook me up with a headshot, a new one, but
No
I love it,
problem.
sister. Keep doing your thing. And we appreciate you coming on to the show.
Absolutely.
All right. So my next sister coming into the DBDS live studio, she was on before, female coach. Listen, she's very positive. She has a lot of wisdom and insight. Welcome back, my sister Nikki, to DBDS Live.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for having me, Tramel and Carl. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. So we have some new viewers. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
I am Nikki Anarado. I am right now in about 5 miles south of Baltimore, Maryland, in Columbia, Maryland. And I am CEO and head coach of Prepare to Be Pursued. And so what this is a preparation program, a dating preparation program for single, busy professional women who desire to be pursued, pampered, and prioritized by quality men without living in fear of her past.
I love what you're doing. I like that too, because just based on how you stated that feminine energy is like gravity. It'll pull right into you, that force, right? So that's how I view what you're doing. I think that's simply amazing.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And next, coming into the DBDS live studio, listen, she got a voice like Anita Baker. My sister is not only talented, but she is giving back with her Sisterhood University. So I'm proud of her. Welcome back to the DBDS live studio, my sister Meiaka.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me back, you all.
It's a pleasure. The pleasure is ours. Yeah. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
So my name is Meiaka, and I am currently from Miami. That was a new move, but I'm a native of the St. Louis metropolitan area. And so I am on the show today to try to give some positive feedback, some great insight. I own a program by the name of Sister Girl University, and where we look to build women up to empower them to be poised for success. So I am just excited today. I also sing, but my heart is just to love people.
I love that. I just think what's amazing that what you sisters are doing. This is the definition of queens, and I appreciate you all being on the show today. All right. I'm just going to go to some few comments because people are checking in. They're excited. So, Carl, we'll just go to a quick comment right here from Brother Ken, I believe.
He said, hello, everybody on the broadcast.
Hello, Ken. Appreciate that, brother. Next comment. Just get your little comments out the way, brothers.
Checking in. Yeah, I was trying to pull it up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Next one.
You good? Yeah, so I can see who's on there. Blazing topics. It should be blazing topics. Yes. I think that's what we're looking for.
All right. And somebody else need a photo shoot. Okay.
Don't worry.
I need a photo shoot. Look at you. See? Look at that, Erin.
Yeah. And I'll just pull up one more.
Hello, everybody. Yeah.
All right. So, listen, thank you, everybody, to the DBDS family from chiming in. We appreciate that. So, I mean, today's show I think this is a great topic because so many of us have our walls up so high, we actually miss out on our blessings. It happens. And sometimes we overcomplicate things from a positive attribute to a negative attribute, which has a lot to do with I'll say our self-image, our experiences and relationships, as well as what we allow to influence us. For example, whether if it's a negative friend who's been single forever based on their bad decisions in relationships, and they're telling you, hey, he may be a good man or good woman, but hey, leave that person alone and you may miss out. So that's what we're going to dive in today. But before we get deep into this topic, we do have a DBDS Anonymous section where people post their thoughts and their issues, and they come to us for some advice. So I have my brother Carl read the letter. Take it away, Carl.
DBDS letter. Hello, everyone. I won't bore you with long details of my relationship, but my wife and I have been married for 14 years. We have 5 children together. Over the past 2 years, I would say things have changed a lot for our relationship. I'm not a smoker, drink, or use drugs. I don't physically abuse her, but from what she has said, I've emotionally have abused her for years. She comes from a very, and I mean very abusive home life and is super sensitive to any hurtful words said. My tendency is to become very angry and lash out with words at her and my children. One of the main things I try to do all the time is own up when I'm wrong and try to improve in those areas. Long story short, my wife said she doesn't trust me anymore, and I believe she views me as someone she doesn't want to be with. She is scared to leave me with having the responsibility of watching our 5 kids alone without any help. When I say I've tried to change in the way I react, I really have tried and have seen big improvement, but I feel it's just too far gone for her. I love this woman with all my heart and would do anything for her. Does anyone have any suggestions other than counseling? She doesn't want to go to counseling because she doesn't trust them. Any help would be appreciated. Thanks.
Woo. Well, first off, brother, hats off to you for reaching out to us. I know it takes courage to reach out, but don't worry. We have some experienced people that can give you some great advice, and hopefully it's not going to turn the situation around just like that, but at least it can guide you in the right direction. So first, I'm going to my sister, Erin. How can we help this brother? What's your thoughts?
So there's a lot here, right? I think that's the first thing to kind of say is that there's a lot here that has happened over an extended period of time. And so like you said, Tramel, it's something that's not going to be fixed overnight. But the first thing I would start with is, even if the wife is not open to counseling, that he pursue counseling. So have we tried anger management yet? Have we tried therapy? Have we looked into having a mentor, maybe somebody in the community or online that is the face of who it is that you're trying to become, a family man, a man that can be trusted with emotions and children. And then the next thing I would say is, as you lead by example, maybe, hopefully, that would open her mind to possibly getting help herself. So sometimes I feel like when we have been abused, we have a distrust, right? So her distrust could come from, well, they're just going to tell me to stay with you, or they're going to side with you. And so maybe if she sees him taking those steps on his own and becoming better, then she could be open to pursuing that on her own as well. And the thing is to have faith, but also understand that it may not happen because everybody chooses, for themselves. So I think it all starts with him. You can't make someone do what they don't want to do. But also by being the example, maybe he can plant that seed for her to pursue help, and maybe eventually they can pursue it together as a couple. That's where I would start.
Yes. Very well said. And I totally see that perspective, that if he starts rolling the ball down the mountain, rolling that ball down, then hopefully she could see that as well. And I'll open her up to see that he takes this very seriously. Because just saying I'm sorry is not good enough. It has to be change. Change behavior is the best apology, my peoples. So I'm coming to my sister, Nikki. What advice you have for this brother? How can we help him?
I agree with a lot, Erin, you shared 100%. I think there's an opportunity there for him, and also kudos to him for writing in and actually wanting to save his family and wanting to see what he can do differently. A lot of times that's not what the first, thing is. It's just pointing fingers and just wanting to just go in that direction. So it seems like he's open to this feedback, which is great. Um, I think it's 100% important for him to seek the help that he needs. One thing that I thought that was interesting that I heard or didn't hear in the letter was the root of his frustration. What's happening in the home that has him worked up, where he's lashing out? Because all I'm hearing is he's lashing out and she's responding to him, and he knows that. So, like Erin mentioned, is it anger management, or is it something going on in the home that's making him, like, what is that? What's going on there? And is it an environment at all where it could be a chance for them to just talk it out, like have normal, calm dialogue? Like, what is actually just immediately escalating it to anger? I'm just curious to know what's going on there. But either way, no matter what, it's a huge opportunity for him to seek out the help that he needs. If she's not open to counseling, he absolutely sees there's a problem. He's admitted to how he's been showing up. He will have to be the one to step out to make that change. I think that'll be the only chance that he'll have in saving his family. It sounds like if he's already seen it, she's probably considering ending the relationship. So you got to try what you can.
Absolutely. Very well said and great insight. And you're right. We don't know what kind of environment it is within the home, how they're communicating, has the relationship reached a complacent state right now, so has it been that way throughout this whole duration? So it's a lot of missing pieces to the puzzle. But brother, I'm glad you wrote this letter. I'm coming to my sister Meiaka. What's your insight and how can we help this brother?
So I definitely agree with what my other sister said on today, especially as far as seeking counseling for yourself, because you have to take care of you. Even when you get on a plane, they tell you in case of an emergency, there's oxygen that's needed. You have to put the oxygen on yourself first before you can administer it to someone else. So I would definitely say seek the help that you need, even if nobody else goes. Get better for you. The other thing that I would like to mention is just to put out there just about learning and understanding what your love language is, as well as your whole family's love language. And sometimes there becomes frustration and there becomes a breakdown in communication when we feel like, I'm giving you the best that I have, I'm giving you all that I have, but if I'm not speaking in the way that you receive, then there's already a breakdown. So not to promote the book, the 5 love languages, because I get no proceeds from it, but it is very insightful. And honestly, to be a great leader, you also have to master reading and get those nuggets and jewels from other people, from other sources, that help you to become a better version of you.
Very well said. And yes, we're going to do a show on the 5 languages very soon. So my people, stay tuned on that. But absolutely, it's very important. Even if she does not decide to go, my brother, make sure you get the help for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to pull up a couple of comments before we get to my brother Carl, just to get his advice on this for this brother. So first, I'll pull up this brother's comment here first for my man. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me go to the top one.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. He said from David, he said, well, the counseling part is something I think needs to be tackled for her, both individually and as a couple, because if she is at a point where she doesn't trust therapists, she has a lot more individual mental illness than she can handle, and is distancing herself from everything, not just you. Beyond the counseling part, perhaps trying techniques such as meditation, yoga together, working on anger management techniques together, and even exercising together could be a stepping stones to unabrasively working on your union. Plus, perhaps her visibly being able to see you progress as a person would assist with her developing trust. Depending on y'all spiritual relationship, religious affiliation, I would also suggest a deep dive into your spiritual walk as a couple. If y'all don't have one, I highly suggest y'all start there.
Wow. Thank you, David, for your thoughts on helping. Very well articulated. And I agree with you. The spiritual walks, the meditation, the yoga. These are you need to come on the show, David. These are some amazing tips that you just suggest that we need to share with our fellow brothers, right? So I appreciate that. I'll take one more from Amanda and we'll come to you, Carl.
From someone who was abused emotionally, verbally, and physically, there are only so many apologies. I'll try to do better and promises to change before it is clear the abuser isn't going to change. I am now sensitive to how people talk to me, not overly, but I set boundaries to how I will and will not be spoken to in anger. There is a clean way to argue and fight, and and when the line is crossed, that person loses my respect. I can only assume your wife feels the same. Let me be blunt. You admit you say things in anger, not only you, your wife, but also your kids too. You are teaching your kids that abuse is normal. That being mean is how to talk when angry. Is that what you want? Please seek professional help on your own. You need to figure it out why you do what you do and fix it.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda, for that. You're absolutely right. From a man's perspective, you are the head and you have to lead by example, brother. And I'm going to tell my 2 cents after Carl. So Carl, I'm going to come to you. How can we help this brother out?
I want to deal with multiple facets. Number one, yes, definitely. I appreciate you sending the letter in. I also appreciate you asking for help, seeking willingness to seek counsel. Most men don't do that for a number of different reasons. But I'm glad that you're willing to seek out counsel. And I agree with definitely all my sisters have said, do it on your own. Even when I was going through a situation, I went, she didn't want to go, I went. And it made me a better person for it. Even though my marriage ended, I was prepared when it ended because I seek that counsel out early on. So you have no idea how this direction is going to go. So fixing yourself now is going to benefit not only you, but your children. You have 5 children, will benefit them. And you put you in a position to be able to help them cope with whatever happens with the family down the road. But you definitely need to figure out why you have anger issues, why you're lashing out. As a man, it's definitely not the way to lead your household. Like I said, you need to, whether it's a childhood issue that you need to resolve, if it's something you watch growing up and you're thinking it's the proper ways to do it. If you've seen that and that's how you're acting, just imagine how your children will act down the road. So you want to break that generational curse right now while you have that opportunity and get that away from your children. I do agree with something David said. If she's fighting therapy, then basically at this point she's checked out and she doesn't want to hear anybody tell her how to fix things. She's checked out. She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to take. And again, and this is unfortunately, this is a situation where she doesn't want to take any accountability on her part. So, and that's going to make things difficult. So if you're going to counseling, again, it's going to be for the benefit of you. Don't go to counseling for her to change. Go to counseling for you to change. Sometimes in doing that, she may see something and say, okay, I'll give it a try. Definitely great man that said, when somebody's been abused and they were asking for somebody, you apologize. So many times they'll take that. But she has her own issues she's got to resolve and work on. If she came from an emotionally abusive family, and I hate to say this, you should have dealt with that before you guys got married and started having children. Just being honest there. If you knew that from the giddy up, if it was something she kept from you to afterwards, I'm sorry. I mean, now you're dealing with that right now, but focus on you, focus on your children, change your behavior. You get mad, you get upset, go take a walk. Get mad, get upset, go take a drive. You don't, even as a man, you don't have to prove your point to lead. You don't have to be right all the time. Even if you're right, sometimes shut your mouth and let them vent and just walk away. It doesn't hurt. You're not being a weak person. You're not not a man. You're not a simp. You're being more of a man by taking responsibility and not lashing back out and diffusing the situation. Leaders diffuse. Leaders don't add fuel to a fire.
Very well said, my brother, from a man's perspective. Also, I'm going to get one more comment from my brother Frank, Pastor Frank.
He said, Pastor Frank, yep, got him. He said, well, if they don't go to counseling therapy, that relationship is over. It's their only way out. They need tools and skills to manage their emotions and perspectives. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, right now, this is the Hail Mary shot, right? I mean, well, first off, thank you again so much for your letter. And I'm glad that you're open to hear different perspectives from different people. And I just want to say kudos for recognizing your flaw, knowing something that you need to work on. However, I believe as a man, the most important aspect when it comes to your woman, or to our woman, I would say, is that it's our duty to protect her heart, not abuse it. And even though she can't see, you can't see those visible scars compared to physical abuse, the emotional abuse can be as or more damaging to your significant other, because now you're creating a vicious cycle that may affect her natural nurturing ability, which will completely close off, which it sound like it happened due to your strength being used in a brutal way. And as men, I feel like strength is always our basic foundation. When we have the strength, it creates a triangle. Strength is at the bottom. When you have strength, you have respect, then you have love. And in the middle of that triangle, you have your emotional awareness, effective communication, rules of engagement, more codes, and so forth, so forth. But when you use emotional abuse, like you admitted, that strength is gone. But without strength, love collapse, respect collapse, because there's no foundation. Strength is weakness now. And since you did that, she reached an emotional pain threshold that she shut down. Her feminine energy is shut down, especially after you stated her upbringing. And I don't know what's going on in the household, but it's completely shut off. So right now, my brother, you need to focus on yourself, like everybody else stated. And I will highly advise you to seek counseling, book a session with us, Carl and I, but something to help self-regulate your emotions. Because as a man, your woman is a reflection of you. And as a father, you must always lead by example, because these dysfunctional blocks that you're building brick by brick, right now you're just contributing to a negative environment that's going to completely just destroy, it may have already, but completely destroy your marriage. So once again, thank you for your letter. And now we're going to go on to the show. All right. So before we get on to the show, I mean, we're talking about positive signs. That was not. But anyway, before we get into the show, I'm just going to pull up one more comment here from my brother Frank.
Said, listening tonight, the panel looks amazing. Let's go. I see Carl representing with the DBDS t-shirt. Yes, sir, Pastor Frank.
Yeah, Pastor Frank, we need you back on. All right. So today's show is titled, positive signs that you see before you enter into a relationship. And the first subtopic that we're going to touch on is make effort to spend quality time with you. You see, this sister probably don't even like to play Mortal Kombat, but you see this brother, they're having a great time, right? Just enjoying life. So that's what it's all about. Dating should be fun. So my thing is that one of my favorite phrases that I like to share is that character always comes first before anything. That's before money. That's before popularity. Listen, it's easy. I'm sorry, my brothers. It's so easy to spend money on someone to impress them, but it takes effort to get to know someone, which is based on quality time. And when you have a brother or sister who provides you with that undivided attention to learn you as a person beneath the surface, that's definitely a green flag. So first, I'm coming to my sister, Erin. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Okay, so it's one of my top love languages. Okay, so I definitely have high feels for this one. I think that it's really important. How can you really truly get to know someone when you don't? I think that when you make time to spend time, what it's saying is, I want to be here. I want to know you. And the more that happens and that consistent effort is taking place, I mean, it's a great feeling. You know, I think what you're doing is you're building, and when as you're building by continuing to do that, it can really become something amazing. So because it's one of my love languages, I'm high up there, like as a cheerleader, like, yes, please do that more and more. You know, I think it's a great foundation to build on. And if it's not happening, then the question is why? Why is time not being made to see who I am and what my interests are? How can you truly be interested in me, the totality of who I am, or at least getting to know what that embodies by not doing that?
Okay. Love that. Very well said. I think this should be applied within the friend zone to see if there's any compatibility, and not after the physical encounter, but just take your time. You know, just take your time. I'm coming to my sister Nikki. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Yeah, it's important, super duper important. And I love what you just added with the friend zone thing before things get really serious, before you get exclusive, before you start the physical component. And I'm right there with you, Erin. It's extremely important, especially in the beginning, because it's like if the spending time component is not an option, then why are you dating? You know what I mean? Like, why are you dating? Why is it that you're trying to get a woman's attention? Like, what is going on if quality time is off the table, either specifically for her or that's just a person's approach to dating? You know, so I always encourage, you know, I work with women, but the same thing applies to gentlemen too. If someone that you're interested in is not giving you that quality time, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to get to know where you fit. And things like that. One major complaint or concern that I have from women, the number one frustration in dating, they say, is inconsistency. All right. And so in interviewing men, that's the number one question I ask. I'm like, look, these women out here that complain about y'all not being consistent, what's going on now? And so his response and the general response is because they're just out here. They're scatterbrained, they're not focused. It's a little bit here, a little bit there, a lot going on. So I'm not begrudging anybody for the way that they date, but it's up to each and every individual person to know what's important to them. Kudos to you, Erin, for knowing what your love language is. I know that when you're meeting new people, if that's what you're, you know, interested in doing, you're going to be clear that that's important to you, and that's what every person should do. Stand up for what you need.
My sisters are dropping some gems today. You know what? That's why when you come across somebody that it wants to do things with you and really wants to take the time, I'm not talking about the brother or sister that just want to see you past 11 p.m. I'm literally talking about someone to say, hey, Nikki or Erin or Meiaka, let's go to the museum. You know, let's take the time to look at some artifacts and try to, you know, intellectually, mentally stimulate our minds or something like that, you know. That's like turning off the game and really giving that person your undivided attention and figuring out every little piece about them. That's what quality time stands for, right? I'm coming to my sister, Meiaka. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Listen, I'm going to tell you, when you just said what you said, it made me think about that Jill Scott long walk. But anyway, my thoughts are... I'm telling y'all, songs come to my head like all the time, and I have a tendency to just like I would have just connected the song and just let's take you know, that kind of thing. But I'm telling you, but honestly, I think this is great. The thing is too that I definitely want to point out is that whenever you do spend quality time with someone, or even in the pursuit of the quality time, be very honest. Be honest about what that looks like to you. Define what that looks like to the other person, because their sense of quality time, you know, his sense of quality time may be, you know, you all sitting down watching football.
So true.
Not really talking, you know. They made a touchdown. Yay, team, pass through them nachos. You know, that may be his sense of quality time, but for you, quality time may be, you know, going to the park walking and talking, and undistracted by that telephone, not posting on social media while we're spending time together. Put your phone on silent, vibrate something while you're with me. Like, I want to be your main focus, and that would be, what I would say for me. So I just think defining what that looks like for each individual person is just really important.
Okay. I like what you just said, because the thing is, when you have different perspectives, this is where the part you get to learn off of somebody. That's what makes everyone so unique. So even though the brother is like into football, that's his quality time, if that person is showing interest, even though they don't like football, but showing interest, is showing like, hey, I'm liking this guy, I want to try learn something new. And then he may like watching Lifetime movies with you, so it can go either way, So I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
It's right up there for me. That's why I challenge people to take the love language test, because some people will say, "Oh, this is my love language," and they're teaching people to love them the wrong way. He'll say, "Oh, quality time is my number one," but it's really number 5. That said, it's actually tied for number 1 with something else. So it's important for me, and I tell people, when you come to quality time, you got to understand, you got to differentiate quality and quantity. You can spend 7 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with somebody, and there's not 1 hour of quality time with that individual in those hours. So you have to, so quality time is you're making an effort to spend it. It's just like if somebody's busy, but they're making that effort to spend time with you. That's quality time. They got a busy schedule, but they're taking time out their schedule to put you to the forefront during that time period. It's also, quality time is also the interview process. It's also when you're asking those important questions and understanding things. And it's like Meiaka said, everybody's quality time language is slightly different than what the other person is, but they want that person there. Somebody just may say, hey, you know what, let's just sit and watch a movie. And that's quality time for them. Sit there and watch The Best Man or Love Jones, drink a glass of wine. That's quality time. It's different for everybody. But you have to decide, you have to ask those questions. And like I said, overdoing and saying, well, I'm giving her 20 hours a week, but out of them 20 hours, are they quality time? For me, as my business partner, he tells me I'm the king of cutoff. I will give time, but the moment a woman is not reciprocated with quality time, I will cut you off. I will block you. I have no problem with it. And I have no problem saying that live. It's just real. I don't, because I tell you what I want, what my intentions are, and I back my words up with actions. So I will give you that time. If you can't give me that time, why are we even moving forward? What are we progressing forward if you can't give me the same time back? So it's very, very important. It's something that needs to happen in the beginning stages before you're kissing, before you're physical, before you kiss her on the third eye. You can't none of that needs to take place. Spend that quality time to even know if you want to even spend quantity time with that individual.
Okay. Well said. I'm gonna pull up a couple of comments right here.
Flo said facts.
Back. And
then Eric said love language tests are very effective. Yes, they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of that quality time, from my perspective, you have to be flexible. Yeah. In my personal opinion, because if I'm getting to know someone, my wife and I, we're like complete opposite. She's more like introvert and introspective. She likes open mic poetries and things like that. I'm the brother that's like, hey, let's go to Vermont and go skiing. Let's go ice skating. Like, I'm more spontaneous, but we complement each other, right? So I think, with the quality time, it's a balance. And I think you are right. You got to have that interviewing process at the beginning. Very important. So listen, we're going to go ahead and, well, before we take a quick break, I'm going to come back to my brother, Carl. Go ahead, my brother.
I just forgot about something real quick. quality time does not have to be expensive.
Good one. Gotcha.
So understand that. So I'm going to hit both sides. So ladies, if you're trying to get to know a guy during that quality time phase and you're basing it off of what he's spending, you're missing out. Men, if you're leading with your wallet during that quality time, you're going to attract the wrong woman and you're going to miss out on the right woman. Quality time does not have to be expensive. Museums are cheap, free, parks, walks, all that time does not cost you to get quality time.
Very well said. And here's the thing, my sisters, if a brother want to take you hiking or night at the park and everything, don't say he's cheap. Again, it doesn't like spending money is nothing, but taking the time and effort to get to know someone, that takes more to do. I'm coming to my sister Erin. What else you would like to add, my sister?
Yes, I wanted to add one more thing before I forget, because that will probably happen. So I like what you said about being flexible, right? Because a lot of times what happens, and this goes back to what Meiaka was saying too, is I want to do something like I want to go get ice cream. But let's say that he doesn't want to do that. And so at times I'm going to have to find myself compromising for that time. That doesn't mean like I never get to do what I want to do. It's just being flexible in order to spend quality time. So sometimes I'm going to do things that he likes to do, and sometimes he's going to do things that I like to do. And that's basically how you really build, because if it's all based off of what you want to do all the time, that's not really fair. And that's something I mean, I used to not be a flexible person, and it was kind of hard hearing like, no, like you are not flexible. Like if I'm like, hey, let's go get, XYZ, and you don't want to do it, it discourages me from wanting to do that or wanting to encourage doing stuff like that. And so I think something for us to think about is just, it's kind of like a give and take with the quality time. Do something that matters to you, do something that matters to me.
Okay. Man, kind of mic drop on that one. Here's the thing. We should have made this another subtopic, but the thing is that when you're flexible, you actually giving that person the leeway to be more creative with their imagination.
That's true.
So I just think when people are rigid, you'd be like, I don't like doing that. I don't want to watch football. I don't want to. It's like all you're doing is like taking away his creative output to romance you more. Yeah. So that's why I think the flexibility is important, because you're not going to like everything that the other person does, but you may be intrigued by learning something new off of each other. That's the process of building and learning each other in a relationship. Right. Great topic. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Don't you go anywhere, my people. Sit tight. This is DBDS Live.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or a classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up for a free trial. DBDSsingles.com, where quality men meet classy women.
Hey, welcome to DBDS Live. I'm your host, Bill Money. I'm here with my sister, Nikki, my sister, Meiaka, my sister, Erin, my brother, Carl. And listen, we just been dropping gems. And today we are talking about positive signs before you enter into a relationship. And before we dive into our next topic, I'm just going to give some quick shout outs to the people watching the show. So shout out to my sister Ebony, my sister Sheila, my brother Frank. Thank you for tuning in. My brother Ken, my sister Ville. Thank you so much. My brother Ernest, my brother Gotham from India. He on the other side of the world, brother. But thank you for tuning in. So we're going to go ahead and continue the show. The next subtopic that we're going to touch on, which you should pay attention to, is a brother or sister that supports you in word and in action. Look at him. Come on, you can do it. You can see it. I could do it. You could do it. He said, you could do it. So let me go ahead and size this up here. So my thing is that when I say support is more than just lip service. I'm referring to someone who takes the initiative to assist you because they also believe in you as well as your vision. And I think that within itself is a huge green flag. So do not ignore it. So first, I'm coming to my sister Meiaka. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Listen, I am so big on integrity because that's what it is. When your words, when your actions follow up with what your words say, that is like absolutely major to me. Especially now, I've been through enough situations where, I definitely have so much honor for a person that has integrity, and that's what it is. Definitely do what you say you're gonna do, and if you see where I may be short, I may be shy in an area, like support for me in that area is being honest with me and then giving me steps or tools that can help me to be stronger and be better in that area.
Okay. And this is amazing too. It's like while you're dating someone and the physical encounter hasn't even thought about whatsoever, and you're having a hard time to digest on like, wow, I don't think I can get my blog in this column in this magazine. And all of a sudden the guy you're dating is like, I believe in you. You could do it. I got you. You could do it. And you're like, wow, that just gives you that push. I mean, I think that's a green flag that a lot of people sometimes miss. I'm coming to my sister Nikki. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Major thing right here. So I'm big on words of affirmation. That's one of my top 3 love languages, and acts of service. So this is 2. It's really super important to me that the person that I spend time with is supportive of my my goals and what I have in mind. That's actually been a deal breaker in previous relationships where they weren't as supportive and will compete with my vision and what I had in mind. And it's something that has definitely changed the way that I'm going about choosing, when I'm spending time or getting to know someone new. And I also encourage women to do the same thing. There's always going to be an opportunity where you're thinking about how can having a partner enrich my life. And you have a chance, and when you're single, to really think about that. And if your vision and what you have going on is extremely important to you, and having that support and having that encouragement, having someone that also shares that vision, maybe they're on a similar path, so will be no competition. That's just something to think about. And when you see those signs of somebody that's right there with you and rolling in the same direction, it's like a go. So very important stuff.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure some people just been at times that they feel like the world is against them, and they have that one person in your corner making you overcome that obstacle. I'm coming to my sister Erin. How important it is that this is a positive green flag. How important it is.
Okay, so I'm right here with Nikki. Words of affirmation is actually my number 1 love language.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's so important to me that I teach it. I teach affirmations. So this is where I thrive. And I think, it's because of how I grew up, where there's affirmation lacking. It's something that you seek. And so yada, yada. So the story goes on. But it's something that I major on. You thought I was major about the other stuff. I'm more major about this one. And and so the reason that I think this is so important while dating, right? Like looking for this is it shows that you probably, not always, that you can be trusted. You know, you are saying what you're going to do, and then your action is following through. And so what that says is that it's safe here. It's safe for me to start to open up. You are reliable. You are dependable. And so now I am seeing that, okay, the more that I notice this characteristic in you, the more that I am able to come in the fullness of who I am without, kind of having my eyebrow raised and looking at you crazy because, you said something, but your action was completely otherwise, which causes confusion, right? That's what the breeding ground for confusion. You said something, but what you did was completely different. So now I'm perplexed. So I think that is something so great to have while you're dating. It's a wonderful characteristic. And even outside of dating, right? This is like Meiaka said, this is integrity. Right. If I know that you are a person of your word, then I have no problem delegating things to you. I have no problem opening up to you. I have no problem feeling safe around you. And so I think it's just a great thing. I could go on and on, but I'm gonna stop. So.
Ooh, okay, my sister. Okay, very well said. Before I come to my brother Carl, I got a quick comment. Okay.
From Elmer, he said, "My man Jamel."
Oh, I appreciate the love, Elmer. Appreciate that. My man. I like in the 70s, my man. I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Number one, like I said, word and action is falls under consistency, and consistency is king. In anything, I know being raised, we were taught as men, you're only as good as your word. And so as men, we have to be really consistent with our word and our actions. They got to align with each other, because you can't, as a man, you can't lead a relationship if your actions don't match your words. It's just that simple. There's no trust. Trust can't be built up. I was actually saw a meme just before we came on here, and it said, money impresses a woman. Money impresses a girl. Consistency wins a woman. And that consistency truly is what words and action are. They have to line up with that. And if it doesn't, you're going to have a bigger issue with her. I'm speaking to men, with her trusting you in the things that you're going to do. So if you sit and say, "Hey, I'm going to put gas in your car. I got you," and she gets up in the morning to go to work and the light's on, she's never going to trust you to put gas in her car again. If you say that you're going to take care of something, take care of a bill, and you just don't do it. I understand things happen, but if it's a consistent thing that continues to happen, how can she trust your word? Because your actions are not lining up. And it goes both ways, but I'm just really speaking to men right now. It falls, I think, to me, more on us with words and actions, especially in the courting stage, especially in that getting to know stage. Some men ask why they get friend zoned, and in some cases because your actions didn't line up with your words. Enough. Let's put it this way: enough. You might have failed the test. 70s passing. Well, not in my household, but 70s passing. You might have got a 65 with her in your words and action, and she friend zoned you. It's that simple when we start thinking about those things. So it's very important. Words of affirmation for me is number 2, like literally like 1 point behind quality time, and 1 point in front of physical touch. So it's amazing how they fell out like that. But yeah, it's big, and I expect, a woman that I'm with, I expect her words to line up with her actions on the same side. But I really feel like it falls harder on men in the early stages of the building blocks of a relationship than it does on a woman. And I think as the relationship begins to meet in the middle, her pressure of making sure her actions line up with her words begins to come in play.
Okay. So I have a follow-up question to the cast here. So my thing is, we're talking about these green flags. So I'll come to you first, Meiaka. Do you think it's rare in today's instant gratification society to come across somebody that supports you in word and action, and also someone that's just, spends quality time with you? Do you think that's pretty rare in today's society? What do you think?
I absolutely do. So I would definitely say if you come across someone that does, like keep them around for a little while.
Mm.
You know, try out a little bit more. You know, taste a little bit more cake. Go on a couple of more dates. You know, interact a little bit more. Absolutely.
Okay, very well said. My sister Nikki, same question. Do you think that's pretty rare in today's society that we live in these times?
Yeah, definitely. Judging by the feedback I get from the women I poll on a regular basis, yes, definitely. So they will very much appreciate it if that's something that's more incorporated. And obviously, women can learn from this as well. We can show up more consistently and not overpromise or not try to appease the man, and knowing that it's not like something we can live up to. Just there's opportunity on both sides, I think, to really grow from this conversation for sure.
Okay, very well said. I think a lot of it, advanced technology contributes to this fast-paced society we have. Coming to my sister, same question. Do you think that's fair to say that it's pretty rare in today's society to come across a man or a woman that's quality time and, taking the effort to get to know someone and so forth?
Yes. What does somebody say? The dating pool has pee in it. There's some other stuff floating around too. We'll talk about it here, though. That's okay. I think what you're saying is so true. Social media has a big part to play in that, because a lot of people don't have to show up consistently to get what they want. If it's a surface level desire, right? And so if you're looking for something that's deeper than that, you now have something called standards. And when you have standards, that begins to weed out those that have no interest in falling in line with them. And it is rare, and that's why I had to snag my boo when I got him.
That's right.
Going to my brother Carl. Same question. Do you think that's pretty? You're single right now. Is it pretty rare to come across someone that's the quality time aspect, as well as someone that supports you in your word and action? Is that pretty rare today?
It is. It does happen. I think, and to the ladies, as a man that coaches men, there are men out there that want want to give the quality time, and they want to back their words up with their actions. But what I hear from the other side, like I said, listen to me, and are that women feel like women look for the shoe to drop. And in doing so, they sabotage the situation. So I encourage, and like Meiaka said, if you're seeing something like that, maybe let them hang around a little longer, try to taste some more cake, what type of thing. But that's just being honest. Because, I get told, oh, you're too good to be true. Something's got to be wrong with you. No way you're this way. And, and essentially they fall back, or they ghost, they do these different things. And so it's difficult for men who really want a committed relationship, but they want to spend that quality time to get to know somebody. No alternative motives. I'm talking about these are men, the men that I work with. That's not things they're looking for. It's no alternative motives. It's not a smash and go, or a smash and grab. It's just, they're there for the long haul. But a lot of women, they say, are looking for a shoe to drop that never drops. And so they make up something that dropped that wasn't really there. And so that makes it difficult, like you said, to back your words up with your actions. And it makes it difficult to have that quality time with those individuals.
All right. Yeah. Great answers from everybody. The reason why I brought that up, because I just want the audience to know that how important it is to notice these green flags. Because if you have somebody like there in a world full of Cuban zirconias and you come across a diamond, you better, really take your time to get to know someone, because you may miss out on something that's really shining right there in your face. My brother Eric got a quick comment,
Absolutely. Yeah. Too many people don't have standards and will take anything just to avoid being alone.
Yes, that is true, Eric. Unfortunately, that's the case with a lot of these sad relationships. And I think it is rare in today's society, just to answer the question I put out. I just think a lot of times people just want the finished project. And sadly, they don't want to invest in someone, and they want to refuse to grow with them, especially if somebody is working towards their goals and they're being ambition and they're showing productive. I mean, sometimes, like I stated earlier, we may all get discouraged, and it happens because we're human. So when you get to know someone who provides you just with that little nudge or support, someone who's truly there for you, even if you don't ask them to be there or you don't expect them to be there, but they just there for you, usually that's all you need to help get you to the next level. And I think that's someone that you should really take your time with to see if it can possibly be a potential healthy relationship. Okay. So with that being said, before we get going to the next commercial break, I'm going to come back to my sister Meiaka. What's up? Go ahead, my sister.
Hey, so I just wanted to throw out here real quick. So just because a lot of times, we have had situations from our past, or hurtful situations from our past, and we really want to move forward. But the next time you move forward, just make sure that you're ready for the opportunity. So
Yes.
therefore, not already expecting for the same thing that you went through before to show up again. Really be open to giving the next person a real chance, which gives you a chance to.
Okay. And that's why it's so important to first heal, self-reflect, prepare, and position yourself. Right. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that. So we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll just hit on our last topic. Then afterwards, we'll do our Jerry Springer moment. Sit tight. This is DBDS Live.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How do we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
All right, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, here with my sister Meiaka, my sister Nikki, my sister Erin, and my brother DBDS personal coach Carl. And it's been nothing but fire. And first off, to the DBDS family, thank you so much for sticking around. We need to have more shows like this. We need to have more discussions like this. So thank you all. Thank you all. So we're going to touch on our last topic, which is very suitable for this subject. And the last topic is, they respect your boundaries. Man, when you have someone that respects your boundaries, this is possibly a keeper. Let me tell you. So my thing is like, you can always get a sense on someone's hidden agenda, which is based on how they communicate with you and their reaction based on your standards. For example, if it gets hot and heavy with the person you're dating, but yet you explain that this is not the right time, and then they're not upset, and they don't see it as a rejection, that's a green flag, because they respect your boundaries. And the right person may find you even more attractive, the fact that you have standards, right? So I'm I'm coming to my sister, Meiaka. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Yeah, so I definitely think that it is absolutely major, especially when a person can accept no. When they can accept no, not right now, I'm not ready for that, and they're cool with it, and they're not pressing the issue, and it's not constantly coming up. Like, yes, because a lot of times, a person, I just feel like when a person can accept no, it tells you a lot about themselves. Because some people really have, they're always good with yes. Yes is always acceptable, but it's
Right.
when that no comes up that a lot of times what's really in a person can really be defined. So when they can respect those boundaries to hear no, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Just talking to some of my sisters that I coach, they say they find that pretty attractive. When a man just respect the boundaries and he doesn't, there's no emotional outbursts or anything of that nature. He's cool, he's calm, and they get
Yeah.
even more attractive. They're like, wow, this guy, great character, right? I'm coming to my sister Erin. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I agree with Meiaka. I think that it does show a lot about a person, because if there is an outburst, it's like, wait a minute, what's really going on here? Are you mad that I have a boundary? Or is this something that I have to worry about in the future every single time I say no to anything, really? And so I think when you have someone that respects you and that is okay with you having, not even just okay, but is it's fine for you to have a boundary, respects your boundary, and honors you by accepting that. I think it's a beautiful thing because what you're saying is that you are emotionally mature enough to handle a no and know that it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with something that a standard that I have set for myself, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Like that. Very well said. Appreciate that. I mean, if you have someone that respects your boundary, and that's a green flag, my peoples. I'm coming to my sister Nikki. What's your insight on this topic?
Very important. Very, very important. This could be a huge determining factor as to whether or not that connection will have a fighting chance at thriving. Because it really does expose someone's intention. A lot of the feedback that I get from women that are, dating is it's like that vibe that sometimes is not respected, or it's like, well, you should be doing this. Don't you know you should be doing this? And it's just like, well, what is going on? Is it that people are wanting to date to get served, or to just receive? So it's just a lot that you can kind of glean from a person's, not wanting to kind of like respect boundaries. For those that do, it is a beautiful thing. It tells a lot about their character, as Meiaka and Erin said. It is very attractive because it's rare. So a man will stand out, women will stand out. It's like, okay, I totally understand. I still want to get to know you. No problem. And so I really, really want to encourage everybody to get clear about what their boundaries are and stay true to them. Don't cheat on yourself. That's what I always say. Don't cheat on yourself.
Absolutely. That's amazing. That's amazing. And here we go. During the friend zone and everything like that, I feel like the chemistry factor and the compatibility factor, they have to both be on tune with each other. So when you get to know someone in that level and you both are attracted to each other, there's nothing wrong with proper flirting to let that person know you're interested and so forth. But when it comes to certain things, gotta hold off. I know some brothers want to smash the chocolate chip cookies right away, but you gotta hold off. you know, because you got to see if this person is compatible. And when you come across somebody that wants to see if you are compatible, huge red flag. Huge. I mean, damn. Huge green flag. Excuse me. Huge green flag, my folks.
Come on, green.
So, that's right. Yeah, I know, red light, green light, yellow. So I'm coming to my brother, Carl. What are your thoughts on this topic?
It's really big. And I tell men have boundaries and standards. I think a lot of men don't know how to set boundaries and standards. They just see a pretty face and think, okay, let's see what she's about, not knowing that those boundary standards will protect you from someone who may be trying to level up through getting pregnant, somebody who may be trying to level up through your wallet. And, you know, and those things happen. But if you have no boundaries and standards, it's going to be a problem with that. And I agree, like Nikki said, it's absolutely attractive with that when somebody has boundaries and standards. I mean, I didn't tell men, ask her what her boundaries are, ask her what her standards are. You know, that gives you a chance to make a decision whether you can even handle that, you know, and make a peaceful, respectful exit early instead of 3 months in, she's got a standard. You're like, oh, I didn't know about that. Ask. It's called communication. It's called adulting. It's called being mature. If you can't be mature and an adult, you shouldn't be dating to begin with. You need to go sit on the sideline somewhere or in a closet. But just being real about it, ask those questions. It don't hurt. It don't hurt. What are your standards? You know, what are your boundaries? Because you want somebody who's compatible in some ways to your standards and boundaries, you know. And ladies, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna help some of y'all out. There are some men who are not out here trying to smash chocolate chip cookies early. They're trying to get to know you. They're trying to make sure they're not getting trapped, bamboozled, you know, being a baby daddy, being in a baby mama drama. They're protecting themselves. So stop calling a man who will not sleep with you gay, a sissy, or he think he's assuming he's sleeping with somebody else. Those are his boundaries and his standards. Get over it. It's that, I mean, seriously. And I hear a lot of men who are like, yo, these women are like, I'm not going to stay with you because you haven't slept with me. And even, you know, that for 2 weeks. And I can't tell how many letters we get in here. And a lady let the man smash the cookies the first night, the second night, and now he's distanced himself and she's mad. Get to know each other. And that's where your boundaries stand to protect yourself. But when you're single and you're dating yourself and you're understanding yourself and understanding what you need from a relationship, not from a person, what you need from a relationship, that's how you're able to set your boundaries and set your standards. I keep mine written on a whiteboard. I have them written on my mirror. I have them laminated. I never have to worry about thinking about boundary standards. If I need to hand it, somebody's like, oh, you're making that up, I can hand it to them out of my wallet and say, no, here are my boundaries and standards. They're there. They're not changing. Because your boundaries and standards should come from all your L's. Not your laws, your lessons. They should have came from all your L's that you win. That's all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I go to my sister Nikki, I'll just be vulnerable just a little bit. But back in my dating days, I'm acting like I'm old with the gray hair, but back in my dating days, you know, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this one sister. You know, we got physical. You know, our relationship got hot and heavy. But the second time around, it was a moment that she did not want me to use a friend to protect myself, and she said, "Hey, you know, it's not gonna be a second round because I just want you to go inside of me with no protection." And I'm like, listen, there's a CVS store up the street. And she said, no, if you don't do that, take me home. So I took her home. And this is what I'm talking about of having standards, having boundaries. You know, as a man, you have to be careful where you plant your seed. Not every soil out there is rich, my brothers. All right. So that's just my things to the brothers out there. I'm coming to my sister Nikki. What else you would like to add, my sister?
I just wanted to add, thank you for allowing me to add something to this. What Carl shared, what you just shared, Termel, I just want to reaffirm that this is a real thing, okay? Men having boundaries that women don't necessarily have. one of my clients, they can have an SOS call. She called me. She snuck out of her own house and called me and said, my man does not want to sleep with me and it's driving me crazy. So they just moved together recently. They just rekindled a relationship, and he moved in. They're sleeping in the same bed, hot and heavy, all this kind of stuff. But he explained to her, though, that this is why, that, you know, it's a long story, but this is why I want to make sure this is real. I don't know why they're living together if it's not real, but, you know, so it's just, you know, he explained his boundaries. She agreed. And she's sneaking out the house to, like, I can't take it, I'm going crazy. So it's just, again, I think it was Meiaka that mentioned it earlier. Make sure your boundaries and your standards are compatible, that you're not sacrificing who you are or over promising what you can do, you know, just to have somebody. It's you gotta make sure that you're being real with yourself and your partner.
Woo. Man, and I'm just gonna pull up a comment right quick from one of our audience members. So that's from Flo.
Yeah, she said, "Get to know each other." Amen.
Absolutely, yeah, very well said. Thank you for tuning in, Flo. That's why it's so important. My philosophy is during the friend zone, I don't believe you should have sex at all during the friend zone. You know, I think at that time you should just take your time to get to know someone, because I feel like when you have the physicality coming forward before getting to know someone, it's like having a malnutritious diet. You're having the dessert before the entree. The entree should come first before the dessert, you know? So that's just my take on it. And I think a lot of people get into these relationships really fast because they're emotionally attached from the sex. You're attached. And then later on, you find out that person was never compatible with you. But it happens. It happens. So that's why we're telling you, my people watching the show, these are green flags that you have to notice. Green flags, okay? So we're going to take one last break. And when we come back, that's right, it's our Jerry Springer moment. So sit tight. This is DBDS Live. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Here with the lovely Erin, the lovely Meiaka, the lovely Nikki, and my brother DBDS personal coach Carl. Thank you all for tuning in. And before we go into our Jerry Springer moment, we got Carl's mama. Hey, she wanted to leave a comment, my brother. Here she goes.
So, he said, "Everyone is giving great advice, but we have to give an extra shout out to our son Carl. Everyone be consistent. It makes the relationship move like a smooth train going down the tracks."
We see where we get your wisdom from, brother. Let's drop a bomb for. We need to get her on the show, brother.
Yeah,
man, that's amazing, man. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, as always, you can tune into our show on YouTube. There's nothing but great wisdom from amazing guests such as the ones we have today. Also, if you can't catch us visually, you can also catch us on Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, you name it. We're everywhere. So just make sure you stay in tune with what we're doing, because we're all about healthy monogamous relationships. So right now, it's about that time for our Jerry Springer moment where we summarize our show. So first, I am coming to my sister, Erin. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
It's like, I hate going first, right? Like, dang it, I'm going to miss the I would say that relationships, you know, they can be a beautiful thing, and that good ones do exist. Good people are still out there. And green flags are definitely something that should be noticed, or taking the time to notice them more, because a lot of times we rehash the past. We rehash, red flags that we miss. And it's always good to take away the lesson from, encounters from the past, but it's also good to look forward. And so when I think about, a green flag, I think about green lights moving forward. How am I moving forward? And is this person showing me what I need to see, what I need to have in a potential relationship? Take your time, be confident and have fun. Have fun and show up as your authentic self. And as you do that and you see these green flags, then that's a great start.
Very well said. Very well said. Thank you so much, my sister, for your wisdom. I'm coming to my sister, Nikki. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
I just feel that as people listen to this and consider the good that could come out of their experiences in dating, just know that it all starts with you 100%. Right. So if you're expecting bad, that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to allow. That's all you're going to welcome because you're familiar with it. But if you're able to take some time to rework what your expectations are, and even if you've never experienced something, try to imagine what it'll be like to be treated the way you want to be treated. If you've never experienced chivalry, imagine what it'll feel like to have someone just cater to you. You have to start somewhere and show up that way. Show up as though it's already happening, and people will treat you accordingly. I promise you that. So better treatment is available. Love is available. These green flags are definitely available. Just welcome it, and it'll come to you.
Very powerful. Very well said. Thank you, my sister. Now I'm coming to my sister, Meiaka. I would love for you to kick a note, but what are your final thoughts for today's show?
Listen, I was almost ready too, but listen, I definitely want to say that love, real love, absolutely exists, even if you haven't experienced it yet. And make sure if you haven't experienced it that when you make the declaration, it's yet. But I also want to say, like, when it comes to your standards, like, keep them, because your standards protect you from what you don't want, and they allow in what it is that you really do. Because the person that you decide, what, I'm gonna make these exceptions for, or that person is going to be the one that you really did not want. But if you would have held off and kept those standards, it would have led you to the yes that you really did want.
Okay, very well said. Words of wisdom. Love it. Love it. And I'm coming to my brother, my DBDS right-hand man, Carl. What are your final thoughts for today's show? Today's show was amazing, by the way.
It was. Yeah, it really was. Like I said, I always say we never enough time. These topics could be 3-4 hours, 8 hours, definitely. I'm gonna leave people with this. Be ready for love. If you're not ready to be loved, you need to figure out why. Heal so you know how to spot a green flag. If you only look for red flags, that's all you will see. Allow that person an opportunity without looking for the shoe to drop. Women, continue to place yourself in a position to be found by your king. Men, continue to seek your queen. Love is out there for all of us. And lastly, make sure your standards and boundaries align with what you can offer, not an unreal expectation of something you want from someone that you can't give.
Wow. Man, amazing. I'm coming back to my sister, Erin. What else you would like to have, my sister?
See, this is what I was saying about going first, guys. Y'all got these nuggets, and then I'm like,
you guys are all dropping nuggets today.
So I want to kind of dive a little deeper into something that Carl said. He said, be ready for love. And I remember something that God has repeatedly said to me in the relationship that I'm in now. coming from, not so great relationships. And the main thing that he has told me is just be loved. Like, it's very simple. You got all this stuff that you are thinking about. Just be loved. And I'm just is it that easy?
I'm so glad that came to you. I'm so glad you're sharing that. That is amazing. That's amazing.
Wow.
And it's very healing, it's very healing because it allows you to show up as your authentic self.
Yes.
It allows you to know that you can be loved for who you are and not for something that you feel like you have to do or be to someone. And so just be loved, start by being loved by God, and then you can be loved elsewhere.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I knew I should have gone last.
Girl, now you make me want to sing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So before I provide the audience with my final thoughts, I just want to thank my lovely sisters for coming onto the show. You guys are simply amazing. So thank you once again. To the DBDS family, make sure you join dearbrothersdearsisters.com. I'm going to put our website right back on the board here. Make sure you join. This site has all the resources that you're looking for, whether it's a coaching session for myself as well as Carl, whether you want to take a course. We talked about filtering out the wrong people that's not compatible with you with the right people, or working on interpersonal communication, or getting even inspirational advice. Our website has it all. It's a one-stop shop for you to get all this information. Also, a book that I wrote called The Road to a Healthy Monogamous Relationship. It's a free gift to everyone that joins our site. So here's my final thoughts for today's show. So I feel like all relationships are built and based upon trust, and trust is developed over the process of time. And when you meet someone who's not in a rush to try to lock you down, and they support your vision, but most importantly, they respect your boundaries, these are all green flags that you should not take for granted. Because in this instant gratification society, everyone will want a piece of the action. And if you're a good man or a good woman, it's up to you to see if those attributes that will help you to get the relationship you desire. All right. So once again, thank you all to this amazing panel and to the DBDS family.
Take it away, Mel.